goal is to trade Jimmy, are not all his reps during practice ultimately a waste? Yes. Lance needs first team reps. Backups need to practice too. Okay. This leads me to the question, will the Niners keep both Garoppolo and Lance for all of 2021, no matter who starts? As David so astutely points out, let's say the 49ers get an offer from the Houston Texans in like 3 weeks. I think everyone figures the Niners are waiting for the Texans to trade Watson. They've already said they will. He wants out. I guess they're kind of waiting for some clarity on his legal situation. So let's say Houston trades Deshaun Watson during the preseason in like 2 or 3 weeks. And then they call up the Niners and say, we'll give you, like, let's say they get 3 or 4 first round picks for Watson. They call up the Niners and say, we love Jimmy. We'll throw a first your way that we just got for Jimmy. And the Niners say, hallelujah. Thank you very much. Absolutely. So their prayers are answered. They get a first round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. Only problem is he took all the first team reps with your offense in training camp. Trey Lance, I mean, he got some work with Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. That's good. But his backups, Lance and Sudfeld, had days where one would get 4 throws, the other would get 2. And then the next day, the other would get 4 and the other would get 2. I didn't use the English language very well there, but you understand. Basically, Rosen goes 2 throws one day, 4 throws the next, 2 throws one day, 4 throws the next. And on the days he gets 2, Sudfeld is rewarded with 4. That's what they're going to end up practice with. I mean, camp with like 25 throws each. I can't do math. Something like that. So neither one's prepared. And now you're in a situation where the quarterback, let's say it's Trey Lance, the starting quarterback. Yeah, of course it is. You traded Jimmy Garoppolo in this hypothetical for a first-round pick to Houston. Trey Lance is a starter. You have 2 backups you don't even know and who hadn't gotten much work. And you're planning on running Trey Lance like 125 times, like Lamar Jackson. What if he misses a game or 2 or 5? He could get hurt. And then you're right back in the situation you're in last year where you're relying on a backup you don't really like. I think it's possible that one way or another, I mean, they're not going to pass up a first-round pick if it's offered to them for Jimmy Garoppolo. They won't. Short of that, though, if someone offers him a 3rd, I could see the Niners saying, you know what? No, we're going to hold on to Jimmy, even if he loses his job, and keep him as a $27 million backup. I could see the Niners doing that, partially because here's why. I think a lot of us talk about what they need to do to win the Super Bowl this year to give themselves the best chance. And I've talked about it a lot. You can't win the Super Bowl paying $34 million for quarterbacks. The Niners have the most expensive quarterback room in the NFL. It's $34 million. No one spends that much on quarterbacks on their roster. Niners do. So you can go to the playoffs like that. It's good. I mean, you're heavily invested at quarterback. You probably won't be in a situation where you're playing some guy who's making $800,000 and you're losing. You have a very good backup, because you're spending $27 million on it or a 3rd pick in the draft on it. So I think it's possible that, if we're being honest, the Niners aren't all in to win the Super Bowl this year. If they were all in to win the Super Bowl this year, they probably would make a decision between Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo. No, they would just get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo because they already made the trade for Trey Lance. He's here forever, for a long time. They'd move on from Jimmy Garoppolo and give Trey Lance the best team a rookie quarterback has ever been surrounded with. They would fill it up with depth and veteran role players, and they would give Trey Lance the best supporting cast a rookie quarterback has ever had. But they're not doing that. They are riding the fence. They're playing for the future and for now. What they're doing is, I believe that they were given an ultimatum. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, this offseason by Jed York. I think he said, you guys have to make the playoffs. Have to. Or else one or both of you are fired. I love you guys, but a 4th season missing the playoffs out of 5 is unacceptable. And it's a business, and you have to make the playoffs. So if that's how the Niners are thinking, John and Kyle, like, yeah, I want to win the Super Bowl, but we have to make the playoffs. They could think like, well, to ensure that we don't get fired, we got to keep both. Got to keep both. That way, if Trey Lance becomes a starter week 3 or week 4, whenever, and plays really well and gets hurt, Jimmy's back. And now they're not in a situation where Josh Rosen and his 25 throws in camp have to win you games, because I don't know if he could, or Nate Sudfeld. So by spending $34 million on quarterbacks, you pretty much ensure that you're not going to win a Super Bowl. It's never been done. That would be a first. But you really increase your odds of making the playoffs, because if Trey Lance gets hurt, Jimmy Garoppolo could come in. The thing is, like, would Jimmy Garoppolo be disgruntled? I don't know. I think he'd be happy to make $27 million and hold a clipboard. He has a lot of experience holding clipboards. He held a clipboard for a very long time on the Patriots. He's made $90 million. If he doesn't get cut if he doesn't get cut, he gets to make another 27 and not play and not get hurt. I don't think he cares. I think he'd be cool being a backup on this team for a year, as long as they pay him $27 million to stand there. And I think they will, for their job security, which isn't really an exciting thought for 49er fans. I think that's what you need to realize. There's some survival tactics going on here. It's not all about, the Rams are all in for the Super Bowl. They're not planning for the future. But the Niners are all in for the playoffs, so they can not get fired. I understand. I mean, if my boss said you got to make the playoffs, I would make sure I made the playoffs. I wouldn't do something risky that gives me a better chance to win it all, but also gives me a bigger chance to not make the playoffs. I understand. It's survival. That's why Jimmy could stay on this team as a backup. Will it split the team? Maybe. These are difficult decisions for John and Kyle. If we get rid of him and Trey gets hurt and we don't make the playoffs, I could get fired. But if we keep him as a backup and Trey Lance gets hurt running the zone read, we can bring in Jimmy Garoppolo and make the playoffs and not get fired. So not the most exciting thought. They can also say, look, we didn't like the offers for Jimmy Garoppolo. We're going to hold on to him and try again to trade him in the offseason when the cap goes back up. I don't like it. I would get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and go all in now. Go all in now. That's what I would do. Got a lot of veterans on one-year deals, and you don't know what this team's going to look like next year. But I haven't seen the Niners going all in now. Have you? I think they're riding the fence. I think they're in self-preservation mode, survival mode, and that's why they're going to spend $34 million on quarterbacks this year. They want 2 starting quarterbacks. They want 2 starting quarterbacks for their own survival. I think that's what's happening. I don't know. Do you blame him? I kind of blame him. Stop making desperate moves. Do what's best for the franchise, not what's best for you. Don says, Grant, it's all about next Saturday at Levi's for Jimmy and Kyle. Period. Can't wait. Can't wait. Preseason. Who wins a championship first between McVay or Shanahan? Oh, man. I don't know. It's a good question. I'm going to say Shanahan because he's got Trey Lance and McVay doesn't. How about that? How about that? I think Trey Lance could win the Super Bowl this year. I think it's a shame that people are being so hesitant, like, oh, my God, he's just a rookie. He's 21 years old. He's not going to be ready. I'm like, he's the 3rd pick in the draft. He's the most physically gifted quarterback of all of them. He's more physically gifted than Zach Wilson, more physically gifted than Trevor Lawrence. He can play the quarterback position conventionally from the pocket. He's a student of the game. He's a hard worker. He's come to camp and done everything right. Played exceptionally well. Just going to sit him on the bench. Sorry, we're not going to use our first-round pick this year. Just going to use him like maybe 10 plays a game, 5. Okay. All right. It's not what I would do. Grant, what are some of the things he's doing now that's different than what he did at NDSU? Not a whole lot. Like nothing. He's doing all the stuff he did at NDSU. The only thing he's doing differently is probably, I don't know, some slight techniques, but in terms of the plays and the concepts, it's the same stuff. Maybe he's doing a little bit more zone read than he did at North Dakota State. I don't know. More sophisticated ball fakes. Maybe that's why he's had these fumbles, because it's like, I don't know. Jimmy's really good at the hand offs. He's great with the handoffs. Trey's got to get on his level with that. What is Lance's 40 time if you had to guess? Like 4.49, high 4.4s. He hit 21 miles an hour. He's hella fast. Hella fast. Super duper fast. 4.4, 4.4 something.